So I'm going to start off this video by saying that I am going to be very encouraging, but I also am going to be extremely realistic. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. And I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And today's topic, we are going to be discussing if you should start a candle business here in the year of 2023. Now, I think the most important thing to know before we really jump into anything in this video is have me just let you know that it doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you wanting to start a business. It doesn't even matter what's going on in the economy. All that matters is that you have the drive, you have the passion, and you have the dream to be able to make this happen and start this candle business this year. Because ultimately, that is going to be the main factor that needs to stay constant throughout the journey. There's always going to be all these changes that you're going to have to adapt to going on around you that you can't control. You can't control how other people think about you. You can't control what's going on in the economy. You can't control a lot of things, but what you can control is the actions that you take, the drive that you have, the ability for you to keep going, keep motivating yourself, and keep moving forward to make this happen if that's something that you really want to do. Because ultimately, when it comes to business, there's going to be all these ups and downs. And I'm sure that if you are somebody who is in the research phase right now, if you're somebody who is researching and trying to figure out all this information about running a candle business, starting a candle business, what do I need to do? And maybe your adrenaline and your dopamine levels are really, really high up. And I'm not here to kind of get you to plummet to the ground, because that's kind of how I am a lot of times. I get really excited over something and then something happens. I read something on it's going to be really hard, or make sure that you get all of these licenses and these taxes, and you go, maybe I can't do it. Maybe it's not something I want to do. So don't let yourself get there. Just take it one step at a time. And we are going to be talking more about kind of the realistic questions that you should be asking yourself so that you can determine for yourself if you should be starting a candle business this year. This video is sponsored by me and my website, ericamarieMorris.com, where I create digital products to help other aspiring candle business owners. To learn more about my digital products and help support the channel, check out the links in the description box below. So, of course, the first question you should ask yourself is, do you enjoy making candles? Do you like making candles? Do you have a good product? Are you good at making candles? These are things that you have to be asking yourself, because I know it can be really exciting to think about starting a business, especially if you are kind of more on the business side than more on the crafty side. So if you're somebody who thought about starting a business before you've ever even made a candle, then you might fall into this category of just kind of wanting to jump all in and get started with the business and actually selling your candles. But you do have to take a step back and make sure that you have gone through the testing process and you are going to have a safe and good performing candle. You want to make sure that your candle is going to speak for itself, that when people get your candle, they're going to be like, I need another one, maybe 3 of them. So you have to make sure that before you ever actually sell to people, that you are getting good feedback from your testers. So let's say your testers are your friends or family and people that you're sending candles to so they can test them in their home and give you honest feedback to make sure that you are having a good performing product, because that is going to be the foundation of your business. If you don't have a good product, then you're not going to end up having a good business, because it's just the foundation. You have to be able to have a good product that people are going to want to purchase, because if you don't have a good product, nobody's going to want to purchase and your business is not going to do very well. You also have to ask yourself if you have the capital to get started in this business. So do you have any extra money saved up, or can you save up some money? Is there anything that you can sell? Is there any way that you are able to make kind of a stockpile, a little savings towards your candle business that you're able to then use and invest that money into supplies to get your candle business kind of off the ground? If you're interested in how much it actually costs to start a candle business, I did do a rundown video that I will have linked above if you kind of want to see a realistic look on how much it may actually cost you to start your candle business. Go check out that video above because I kind of go over everything there. But you do want to make sure that you're not going into it in a very kind of in the negative already. I know that this is kind of a controversial topic, but I personally don't like to start anything off with debt. So I haven't taken out any loans or done any debt when it comes to my business. I pay cash for everything. And if you're also interested in how I paid for my business, before I started my candle business, I was an eBay reseller, reselling clothing online. And I essentially took that small business and had it fuel my candle business. So I think I had $1,000 or $1,500 or something saved up in my PayPal account. And all of my sales that I was getting from eBay, I was then able to use for my candle business. And then once I got my candle business going, I was then able to take all of those profits and reinvest it back into the business. But again, this is a very realistic standpoint when it comes to starting a business because there's very little businesses that you can start with very little money. And a candle business, an online candle business, really isn't going to be the most expensive business that you could start. I mean, there's franchises and actual brick and mortar stores that are hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started with. So in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that expensive, but it is something that you do have to think about to make sure that you are going to have the money to buy the supplies, buy the testing materials, buy the website domain, buy the hosting platform that you are going to need in order to get your business going. Another question you need to be asking yourself has to do with profit. Now, before I ever sold a candle, before I ever even, I think, created my business name, I was very focused on the profit aspect. I was very focused on the cost of goods and figuring out what the lowest cost of goods it would be to get all of my materials in order to make my candles. From there, I was able to see what I would be able to sell them for, how much profit I would make per candle. And I think that that should be definitely part of your focus in the very beginning, because this is something that you can just spend a day researching on online, finding the closest candle suppliers to you, figuring out how much shipping is going to be to get these items shipped to you and how to factor that into your cost of goods. Because again, if you don't have a high enough profit in your business, it is going to really, really hurt you and may even be kind of the downfall of your business in the long run, because you want to make sure that you are making enough money in your candle business to be profitable. Because at the end of the day, profit is going to be what is going to push your business forward. So make sure that you are going through, figuring out your cost of goods, figuring out your suppliers, and doing some research on how much it's going to cost you to create your candles. You have to make sure that you are going to be able to price your candles accordingly and be able to get that profit back into your business so that you can then reinvest. Because if you are not able to make a profit on your candles, you may as well just keep your candle making as a hobby instead of a business. And the last question that I wanted to bring up in this video that you should be asking yourself is, are you willing to learn new things? Now, this is a very broad question, but there are so many things that you learn in business, and it's not a bad thing. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, you have to learn everything all at once right away. You can take turns or take time learning all of these different things that is going to benefit you in your business. You can get some marketing books and listen to some audiobooks, you know, when you're doing the dishes or something, and learn more about marketing, or even just watching YouTube videos on marketing. I've done that a lot. Web design, figuring out hosting platforms, figuring out Instagram Reels, figuring out shipping, how you're going to ship your products. There's so much that goes into it that you're going to say to yourself, I don't know how to do that. And trust me, I told myself that so many times. I really do not know how to do that, mainly with taxes. Taxes was a big thing that I learned about, and licensing and who to ask questions to, and when I got my CPA, when I got my attorney, and who do I ask certain questions to, and how do I figure that out. And there's just been a lot of things that have made me, you know, just very overwhelmed at many times. And that's just to be completely honest. But I eventually got through it. And that's coming from somebody who used to give up whenever things got hard. I never did anything as a kid. Anything that was challenging at all whatsoever, I would not even engage in it because I was too scared to fail at it or not be good at it. So I'd rather just not do it because then I couldn't fail at it. And now with my business, I would just sit down on my computer and figure it out. Whether it took an hour or 5 hours, I would figure it out. I would be able to do it. And you're able to learn so much more by learning all of these things in your business, and you feel more connected to your business. You feel like you have a better grasp on what's going on when you're able to figure out all of these things. And trust me, I was not good at product photography in the very beginning. I was not good at all. And now I've actually been able to get a lot better at product photography. So the more you practice at something, the more you're able to grow with that. And that honestly is learning. The more you learn, the better of a learner that you're gonna be. And that sounds so interesting to say, but it's really, really true. And I was not a very good learner growing up at all. Very slow learner, not fast at learning. So that's why sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to figure things out, but I will get it and I will figure it out. And that is the main thing. If you are somebody that is able to just keep going, getting through obstacles, and you really, really want this dream to happen, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter what's going on. The economy is always going to be up and down. You know, people are saying recessions, people are saying nobody is buying wants right now. Nobody's buying, you know, candles or extra things. That's not true. So many people are. And lots of businesses have been able to get started and grown during recessions and during times of economic downfalls. So it's not something that you need to hold off or wait specifically because of those moments. Now, if you have other things going on in your life and you've asked yourself those questions that I said earlier in this video, and you're like, okay, maybe it's not the right time, but maybe I can save up, think about it a little bit more over the next 6 months, and then maybe revisit it, maybe buy some testing materials and kind of get started there. It doesn't mean that if you have this idea of starting this business that you need to jump in full force and get started right now. I understand that mindset. I understand the all or nothing mindset. That is me. I am all or nothing. I'm very jump in, feet first, head first, everything first into this and just kind of go at it. But if you just take a moment, ask yourself those questions. I also do have a candle business workbook. It's kind of just to help you get started with your ideas of getting started with a candle business. So I will have that linked below. I think I actually always have it linked in the description box below. And it's just to kind of work through all of these questions and kind of lead you in the right direction. And before I end today's video, I just want to leave you with this thought right here. There's always going to seem like a better time. There's always going to seem like you are late to the game. It's oversaturated. There's too many people involved. I should have got started sooner. I should have got started 3, 4, 5 years ago. There's going to be all these, oh, I should have's. What if I got started earlier? And you need to basically have a pretend conversation with your future self. Let's say it's 2027, 2028, and you still didn't start your candle business. Do you think that your future self would have probably been like, hey, you probably should have started back in 2023 because now it actually feels like it's way too saturated. Too many people are involved. You know, you thought it was oversaturated back then. Now it really is. Or whatever all these thoughts are in your head. I always think about what am I doing now to make my future self proud, happy, and glad that I put in the work now. You may be glad that you put in the work now, or you may be telling yourself, I do need to wait. It's completely up to you. This is extremely individual. And as much as I love my business and my candle business and talking about how amazing it is to start your own business, it's definitely not for everybody. So I want to make sure that I don't bring you up too high, but I also don't bring you down too low. We need to have that middle ground. We need to make sure that we are very realistic and very kind of logical in our thinking when it comes to such a big commitment like starting a business. But anyways, I think I'm going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at Memory Box Candle Co. And I will see you in my next video.